Hello and welcome to another Solana tutorial. Today we're gonna have a look at the first VS Code extension specifically for Solana, built by Ackee, who also run the School of Solana, but really they're an auditor company. And what that extension is supposed to do are two things. Number one, they give you static code analysis and tell you if you're missing a signer check or something like that. You know, static analysis that is Solana specific, and therefore no other linters or code analysis will show you those. And the second thing is fuzzing. They show you test coverage of the fuzzers. We did have a look at Trident, their fuzzing tool, and that integration is basically just an extension of that makes it even more obvious to show which parts of the code are being tested with the fuzzing. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a look at that because I don't know if I want to go into fuzzing again. But the static code analysis, that really sounds interesting and I do want to have a look at that. So let's get that extension and have a first look at it. So yeah, let's have a look at this extension. Does it have a name? The first Solana extension for VS Code. See, the thing is, in basically all of my videos, I'm using Visual Studio Code. I just happen to got used to it and it's a free tool, so why wouldn't I? And for that thing, an extension exists. How do we get that? Extensions. Solana. Look, it's the first one. VS Code extension for Solana. Version 101 by Ackee Blockchain, who is verified. So, this seems trustworthy. Last released a day ago. Yes, they just published this yesterday. Can find the tweet. Yes, it's a tweet, not an X post. Here, that's the tweet from yesterday. So it provides two essential security layers for Solana development: real-time static analysis and Trident fuzz coverage visualization. Why it matters? Code reviews miss things, yes, so do test cases and static analysis and everything. But the more you have, the more likely you are to find those things. And that's maybe also a good thing that I should say up front. Just because you have this tool that helps you find bugs does not mean that you should turn your brain off and not think about what you're doing anymore because the tool's gonna save me. No. Tools can also make it worse by giving you a wrong impression of safety. I would only recommend to use that for, checking yourself and not for relying on it to tell you what you're doing wrong. Just saying. And an example would be missing signer check. Like this, free and open source, works with any Solana project. This seems very broad. I'm not sure if they support Pinocchio. I'm not sure if they support C, or pretty sure they don't support anything I do with assembly or whatever. But what that probably means is they support Anchor and the Solana program crates, and maybe even Pinocchio, but we will see. And it integrates with your existing workflow. Okay, install now. Yeah, that's the thing we have here as well. So let's go and install it. I trust Ackee. Installed. Boom. Okay, how do we use it? It is enabled and it has the following built-in static analysis detectors, like manual Lampert searing, missing check comment, immutable account mutated. That's cool because I run into that a bunch of times in Anchor. Instruction attribute invalid, instruction attribute unused. That sounds very much like it's built for Anchor mainly, but we will see. Missing init space macro, missing signer, unsafe math, and then the fuzzing. Okay, so in order for me to get something quick, I'm gonna build a Solana program with Anchor because I want to see results quickly. So let's build an Anchor program really badly such that we can test this extension. Not because we're stupid and don't know how to write Solana programs. Okay, static analysis Solana with this extension by Ackee, in case you wonder what that name stands for. I never know what to name my projects. I just... Okay, and here we're in it. Program with bugs. No such file or directory. I do have Anchor installed in version 0.31.1. Maybe I should update that. The latest is 32.1. So maybe let's install latest. Solana verify. Installed. Okay, now using Anchor version 0.32.1. Wonderful. But probably Anchor init will still not work. Oh, I have both of it. Hold on. Now I created both those projects. Hey, hold on. Delete one again. And then I'm going to open this. Hold on. So we have our, it's here, clear. we have our program with bugs that for now doesn't have bugs yet because I didn't build it yet. So if I cd into here and then I anchor build, anchor lang version, and this is also not good. Current CLI version doesn't match. Oh, because I created this with the old version. Oh, hold on, let's kill this. Let's just delete this again and anchor init one more time, a program with bugs. Gives me that weird error, but it should still be here. And then anchor build. Yeah, now I don't get it because now I created that program with the same version of Anchor that I'm using in the CLI. Better. And that program, by the way, does nothing except write a message. There we go, but it managed to build the program. Now it builds the IDL as well. Boom, finished. Cool, nice thing. Perfect, nothing unexpected here. It's just a default Anchor program. But let's put something in here like an unchecked account. Unchecked account, which is an unchecked account. And then we probably, because Anchor, we need the info that we also have here then. But then that should work. And I don't see a problem. Like I don't see anything, like nobody's complaining about that. But if I build this, then it couldn't compile because it says please add the check. Doc comment explaining why no checks through types are necessary. So I need to explain why I use an unchecked account here. But I thought that this stupid extension would tell me that before I build it, because now I only see it when I build it and this panics. I don't see it in my code analysis. So probably this weird checker isn't even running. It's disabled in this workspace because it's defined to run in the remote extension host. Please install the extension. Okay, because now I'm on WSL. Now I need to install it here separately. Okay, now it's installed here. Okay, so we have it installed again. Extension Solana. It's literally called Solana. You're like, yeah, no, we call our extension Solana because nobody else will have an extension that is also called Solana. Definitely not that like Solana, there's just one thing. That's just, and it's clear what that is. Is it? I mean, they're the first Solana extension, but I mean, branding wise, come on, Ackee, you could have done better. Name it Solana code analysis and fuzzer or whatever. I don't know, because this is a VS Code extension for Solana. Yes, of course, for Solana. But it's okay, whatever. No, it's fine. Solana by Ackee Blockchain. That would be a better name for it. But okay, it's called Solana. Fine, whatever. Point is, I have the extension installed. The extension installed. The extension installed. And it still doesn't tell me shit. Like, do I need to reload this now or what? You still don't complain about this, or is that not within your... I have the Rust analyzer running here. Do I need to somehow run? This extension is enabled in the remote extension host because it prefers to run there. Still, like, how do I run this? Do I need to do anything for that to work? Okay, let's do one of those specific errors that they define here. Here there's something like update authority, but that's nothing that you complain about. This is an easy one, the one with the clock. Let's try this. I'm gonna give you a clock, sysvar clock. You also need the lifetime. Okay, how about this? Again, it's not complaining. I don't know how I can run that extension on this program. Like, how do I do that static check? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna restart this. Maybe that changes something. Rust analyzer be Rust analyzing, but this extension does nothing. Again, I don't know how to run this. Do you need to open the project folder? Would that look different? Can't imagine so, but who knows? Yes, that looks different. Okay. Works for all Solana programs, but only if you open them. It's the program. Okay, so as soon as you are in a different folder, like I was here, I'll show you. If I'm in a different folder that has a subfolder with my program, it doesn't work. So screw that. We gotta open it directly, the program with bugs, for that extension to actually work. I guess it needs to have the, I don't know, cargo toml or whatever in the root. Then suddenly we get those checks here. Okay, so what do we have here? Initialize and its components have no signer field. Consider adding a signer to ensure proper authorization. So it gives me a signer check. It says, hey, have you considered that you might want someone to sign this? No, I have not considered. It's literally a memo. Anybody can do that. I don't give a shit about it. But, you know, I mean, thanks for the hint. That's why it's yellow, not red. Red is this because this is missing a check. And look, that check that's missing, that check for the check, is static analysis that this extension does for me now. I don't need to run anchor build to see that I messed something up here because I'm using an unchecked account and the extension knows, oh, I need to say check and give you a proper excuse why I'm using an unchecked account here. So I gotta do check. This is safe. Trust me, bro. Solana security scan found 3 issues in one file. Source Solana. That's the extension. Source Solana. Please call the extension something else than just Solana. Call it Solana extension even or whatever. But calling it Solana is just a bad choice in my eyes. But that's okay. Show output. Files with security issues. That's my lib. 1 anchor program. 3 security issues. Anyway, we were at Trust Me Bro. If I save that. It's weird. How do I let the extension rerun that check? Because it seems to be a bit behind. Where was that just? The debug console? The output? Can I rerun this? There, Solana extension. Can I tell the extension to rerun? How do I do that? It's nice. It gives me those 3 things. But then can I tell you, hey, I changed it. I saved it. Can you please check it again? That's what you get if you work with an extension that has been released yesterday. I mean, how about... Oh, that's better. Just close the file. Open it again. Save. Okay, cool, whatever. So now still 3 issues. I count 2. The third issue that we had here is consider using clock get instead of the sysvar. Why? Because it's unnecessary to put in the sysvar here. It just uses up transaction space if I need to put the sysvar here, because the clock sysvar is one of those that I can get anyway with this clock get. You know, there are the sysvars that I can access all the time, and there are the sysvars that I need to provide to the program in order to have access to them. One such sysvar is, for instance, the instructions sysvar. There we go. Now you found 2 issues. Oh, instructions I can also get? Interesting. Is that new? Anyway, and recent block hash? Oh man, consider using recent block hashes get. No, I know that there's one. I thought instructions was also one of them, but how about, okay, no, you're just being annoying here because ASD is certainly not a sysvar. Consider using ASD get instead of, yeah, no, but that's not a thing. I see what you're doing here. Whatever I write here, you just say I should get it instead of using the sysvar. I see. So we have a different problem here before even. Invalid sysvar provided. So we should trust the Rust analyzer more than this stupid Solana VS Code. But it's cool that we see which extension says this is an error. So invalid sysvar provided is the first one. So let's do recent block hashes. It's deprecated. Checking Solana sysvars. We have the clock sysvar, epoch schedule, fees, instructions, recent block hashes, rent, slot hashes, slot history, stake history, epoch, latest restart slot. And I think those are the ones that are always available. No, those are the ones that are always available. The following sysvars support get clock, epoch schedules, fees, rent, epoch rewards. Which means only those I can use get. For recent block hashes or instructions, I do need to provide the sysvar as an account. So if I would say instructions, just need to make sure that I import the right instructions. Anchor prelude instructions is not what I need. Look for instructions, it needs to get it from here because instructions is a name that is otherwise used. So Solana SDK IDs sysvar instructions. Security scan completed. No issues found in 1 Rust files. Great that you don't find any issues, but it's still red. Bumps not safe. The first method is more efficient and does not require the sysvar account to be passed to the program or specified in the instruction. So that's the better way to do it, but just works for those 5. If I want slot hashes, for instance, or slot history, let's see, can I do slot hashes? Yeah, there we go. I think that extension is not doing the correct job here. I don't think a slot hashes will get me there. For the clock, yes. Clock, get. That will do. Also, the extension is super annoying, always giving me that pop-up. Put it somewhere here and say something or whatever, but don't give me always that pop-up. That's annoying. After every line I type, it comes up. Still 2 issues. Go there. Go be quiet. Yeah, no, I already don't like this extension. But that's good. So I give you feedback, Ackee. Look at me not liking it. So slot history get. The Rust compiler this time complains that we need to use this result. Okay, we get the clock. Sloth history. And I bet with you that will just fail. I will not be able to get that, as you suggest here. But okay, willing to try. Let's build this. It does build. That's cool. The extension still is a bit slow and it shows me old things. Like, yeah, it's not nice to work with. It seems so buggy or like unstable. I don't know what it is, like, but it shows me old state. This here, what it underlines, is the old state. I already commented it out, but it still has that yellow line, and that's just so annoying. How can I refresh that? I don't know. Do a better job, extension. Do a better job, Solana. Which is absolutely not Solana. It's Ackee developing an extension. Anyway, so I want to test this. I'm gonna remove the unchecked account as well. Bro, found the documentation, it doesn't document anything. Let's document the documentation as well. And then you complain about this. Oh, annoying. Fine, let me use it. Cannot find module. Oh, we didn't have that installed. pnpmi, and we're safe. Okay, cool. Better. So now that we installed all the dependencies that we need, tell me how I need to put that thing in here. I know that I need to put that account in here because that's supposed to not work. Because the initialize should take one unchecked account. Or was it account or dot accounts? There we go. That's how you did it. Unchecked. And you need what exactly? An anchor address. It's an unchecked account that I don't do anything with. System program ID. Are you an anchor address? Yes. Okay, perfect. And like this, I should be able to test it. Let's run anchor test. It still doesn't like yearn. I don't think I have yearn installed. Test runs yearn. Can I change this to pnpm and anchor test? Missing script. Exec. There we go. Okay. So I need to say exec. Then it finds the ts moch, whatever. So I don't want to use yearn right now. I use pnpm. Sure. So my test is failing. Simulation failed. But that's already what I would expect. Yeah, my unwrap failed. Unsupported sysvar. Unsupported sysvar, you goddamn... What did I say? It said unsupported sysvar. Let's just check that that's actually the line. Line 13. My program with bugs. Line 13. Yep, there. That unwrap, that's what fails me. Because I can't do slot history get. That's not a thing. I can get the clock, but not the slot history. So don't tell me I gotta do that. The way I gotta do that is with this sysvar here. And then I can get, it's now actually a slot hashes var. And then I can get that from the context accounts slot hashes sysvar. And then I could do slot hashes sysvar. Yeah, what can I do with that? How do you work with slot hashes? No, slot hashes, slot history. What now? Let's do, both of them are not available, but here I got, okay, let's do slot, not like it matters. Oh, here I can, I can from that sysvar, that's already the sysvar. I can just use that, hold on. I can just use that to get a slot. And I could get my slot from the clock, slot -1 or -10, whatever. Something like that. Oh, but look at that. Here we have another thing that the extension tells us. This is again the Solana VS Code extension telling us unchecked arithmetic operation detected. Consider using checked add. I can't just do minus. I need to do checked sub 10 and then unwrap this. And I'm gonna fail if it fails. I don't like those things coming up here all the time. At least it's rebuilding or reanalyzing. So why can I not get the slot? Oh, because you need a reference, that's why. And then what's the problem here? Cannot move. Okay, fine, then you need a reference. Okay, fine. But that should now actually work, no? Can I build again and then test again? And we're failing. Account sysvar mismatch. Ah, the given public key does not match the required sysvar. That makes sense because in my test, I didn't give you anything, especially not that sysvar. So here you now also expect the, what did I call it? Why do you not show me what you need? This is so annoying. See, that's another reason why I just don't like working with Anchor. It's just annoying as hell. This is what you need. There. And I'm gonna give you sysvar How do I get to the sysvar? It already says that the address should be this. But shouldn't Anchor then automatically do that? Wait, then I don't need this. Maybe it's fine. Hold on. Yeah, the unchecked I need because it can't know. But the other one it knows automatically. So what's my problem here then? Anchor error caused by account sysvar mismatch. Slot hashes. Slot get slot. The given public key does not match the required sysvar. It's weird. Gonna check the IDL. The IDL also says var slot hashes, which is the address. So I shouldn't need to put the address anywhere in my tests, which I don't, so that should be fine. But then I get an account sysvar mismatch, which doesn't make sense to me. Does that just come from here? Nope, also here already. How about if I say slot history as I had earlier? Same thing. But does the IDL now say slot history? Now it says slot history. Somebody explain that to me. And it's just because I don't understand Anchor. It's probably gonna be alright. But it's not like the RPC already failing. Task queues. It's not even that the transaction is failing. But that seems more like an Anchor issue than a thing about the extension. The thing about the extension is that it still tells me this, with which it shouldn't. I just also can't get it to work otherwise. Hey, what if I say it's also an unchecked account? YOLO. Or even better, I take the first one, trust me bro, and from that first account I try to do this. From the unchecked, then I don't have the get, because this is an unchecked account and not a sysvar, but I can slot hashes is slot hashes from account info, and then this one to account info. Do you think that will work? That gets me a result of slot hashes or program error, and I just unwrap, or even better, I just question mark. Then I get slot hashes, and then I can say get and the slot. You think that will work? So slot hashes I need to put into my unchecked now. Build, and then in my test, not slot history, but the slot hashes. And if I then test, fails. Panicked at 13 unwrap. None. 13. Oh, we are already failing to get a slot. Okay, never mind. Take slot 0. I don't know where I'm even running this on some local something. So maybe my slot was 0 and therefore -10 will fail. Because I'm not doing this on DevNet or anywhere, I'm doing this somewhere locally, this testing. And now we fail with unsupported sysvar. Yo, this is getting a bit annoying. But at least the clock sysvar I can get. Let's just print something from the clock. Let's see what the current slot is. Current slot is 3, yes. It seems like it's always spinning up a new local test validator or something. Because my current slot is 3. No wonder I can't sub 10. But good that the extension warned me. Otherwise I would, check slot very high. Because underflow. So that was a good hint. Because that can happen. That you get an underflow here. Okay, anyway. We're at slot 3. This is ridiculous. And if I test again, it spins up another local test something probably. And we're still in slot 3. Okay, but at least I can get the clock. But I can't get the slot history. Because that will fail. Yep. Can't unwrap this. I can even question mark. Then it shows me the proper unsupported sysvar. I can't get. Or maybe that's also my problem here. Because that's basically, maybe the from account info is basically doing a get. Maybe. How about slot hashes? Let's look at them again. Because I also never really did that. Slot history, the layout, and slot hashes, the layout. Slot history has bits and the next slot, indicating which slots are present in the past epoch. And slot hashes, what's that? Split log, a bunch of, I wouldn't even know how to work with those. It seems to be just like a list or something. Get slot, and then we have a hash. Slot hashes gives me a slice of slot hash. And here I need self though. So how do I get the self? Slot hashes, get, no. Just proving that slot hashes is none of the sysvars that you can just get like clock. Could do it with rent or fees or epoch schedule, like slots per epoch. So I could do epoch schedule get. I'm also gonna just question mark if it doesn't work. Slots per epoch is epoch schedule slots per epoch, which should be, how many slots are there in one epoch? I should know this. It's like, it's 2 days. A slot is like 400 milliseconds. There we go, that passed. But that's not good that it passed because I want it to fail so I see the simulation. Wait, I can't build? Why? Oh, that's why. Okay, 432,000. Yeah, that makes sense. I knew that it was exactly that number. We have that many slots in one epoch. So that many times 400 milliseconds. So that's milliseconds divided by 1000 divided by 3600 divided by 24 is exactly 2 days. If the slot length is exactly 400 milliseconds. That's why this number. Such that it's exactly 2 days. Yeah, anyway. So that works. I can get the epoch schedule. So if I were to write epoch schedule here, then it would be fair that you tell me, oh, you're just late. You're just so late. It's not an unchecked account anymore. Give me the next, I close it. I open it. There you go. Now it's okay that you tell me this. But if I put like slot hashes here, then open that again. Then it's not okay anymore that you tell me this, because that's just stupid. This doesn't even exist. It exists, but it gives me something else. So yeah, point is the extension still tells me bullshit. So fix that, Ackee. But I've been playing around with like sysvars and stuff now that we didn't even want to get there, but I always want to, learn while I do stuff. Point is, I can't just get the slot hashes, and I also can't get it from here. And I'm not gonna show you how it's done properly, because that's not the point of this video, goddamn. This is not an anchor tutorial. This is looking at the extension, so screw this. I also don't like this pop-up. But yeah, I mean, it kind of makes me want to fix all my issues, because it's just so annoying that it always comes up. But then I have this one issue here with the initialize, where it says, has no signer field, consider adding a signer. And I'm like, I know it doesn't have a signer, but I don't need one. I literally just print the current slot, and that's all the transaction does. It does not require a signer. Then it's just really annoying that this thing still tells me that anyway. So I would like to tell it, hey, ignore that. Just, not every time I type a space, come up with this stupid pop-up. Turn off info and warning notifications for Solana. I could do that. Fair enough. Could do that. There you go. Turn it off. No, I cannot. It's not even clickable. Look at that. I click on this and nothing happens. Great. So this is, okay, so that's like those amazing, but it is not coming up anymore. Or at least it's not coming up anymore. I think I did click it. It just didn't go away after I clicked it. It's not coming up anymore. Cool. Because that was just annoying. But yeah, it still gives me that missing signer warning. And it wouldn't give me that signer if I had an extra signer, or better call it authority. Because then we know at least some guy signed, and then I don't get this error anymore. And for this to work in my test as well, I need to put in the sign. Oh, that works. Nice. It just works. Who does it take as a signer? Who does it take as the authority? Oh, the authority is optional. Unchecked is also optional, but I want to know what it puts in there just for me. So can I manually run the Solana test validator? So then there's something like skip local test validator here. So we skip local test validator, basically meaning we don't run it with this execution because it is already running somewhere else, but we are using that. Has insufficient funds. What is that account even? Where does it get that account from? That upgrade authority? Okay, hold on. Solana airdrop 1,000 to this. Does this work? It is running. Oh, no, it doesn't work because here I'm not on local. I gotta go on local. There we go. That works. And then we test again. There we go. Then we can deploy it to the local test validator. And that also works then here. And now I can Solana confirm this. Oh, but that's not found. What? Definite. There we go. That's better. So what do we have here? Transaction is confirmed. Transaction executed in this slot. It will also tell me that down here current slot is this. Greetings from this program. Nice. It was correctly deployed. And the accounts that it's using is this, which is my fee payer, and the instruction 0 also puts in the fee payer and the slot var. This is what I put in here in my test. And account 0, the fee payer. So apparently it takes the fee payer automatically in here if I don't provide the authority. Don't ask me why it does that, but Anchor does that. So yeah, fair enough. If you just require a signer, then Anchor will just put the fee payer there. Yeah, there, have a signer. Okay. In most cases, it will be the fee payer that we put here anyway, and then that's fine. So yeah, fair game. Cool. So that works. I got rid of that error or warning. What other things does this extension still tell me? Finds unused instruction attributes that might indicate logic errors. I see. So if I have a instruction, something I don't use, a U8 lore. Unused instruction parameter. That's from Solana VS Code. But also instruction parameter not found in handler function. Also from Solana. Yeah, I can't use this here because I don't have it here. Something I don't use, U8. But I could use it here. And I could even use something I don't use, lore. But then it still gives me the error here of this one I'm not using. However, I'm not using it here in the accounts to check anything. But let's first use it. So for my unchecked account, maybe say bump is something I don't use here. Seeds must be provided before bump. Okay, let's say I did use seeds. I'm not gonna because I can't be bothered, but let's say I had this as seeds, as bytes, there you go. Then it's not complaining. Look, because now I'm using this U8 here for the bump. So I'm basically putting the bump in here and then here. Now my question is, if I have the something I don't use and then the bump to use, which is also a U8, then I need to put it in here like this. And then I'm gonna use the bump to use down here. Then it still says, this is annoying. Look, this is annoying. Because here it says, unused instruction parameter, something I don't use. Fair enough, but I need to write this here, because otherwise, if I just write the bump to use, then this will take the something I don't use instead of the bump to use. So I need to write something U8 here first. Oh, wait, maybe it does the matching now. But that would be new. Something doesn't match handler parameter, something I don't use at position 1. Must be the same order as handler function. Yeah, okay, I mean, yeah, must be in the same order. So basically what you're complaining about is that I don't name it the same. Is that what you're complaining about? Because I'm pretty sure without, I'm pretty sure with Anchor I could still build this. Anchor usually doesn't, Anchor doesn't complain. But you complain, and that's cool. I found another thing that it does. It forces me to use the same names up here as well, so that it knows that those are the same things. Or that I know that those are the things. That the developers know. That you know that those are the same things. And then, can you please refresh? No, you cannot. You gotta close it. Freaking open it again. There you go. Then it's just a warning that it's not using that. Okay, but here's my problem now, mister. If I want to just use the bump down here, I need to specify it like this, the bump to use, which up here, yes, I'm not using, but fine, I can also do this. Are you then going to complain down here that I didn't call it the same? Yeah, you are. Because here, it's not the same. It does not match the underscore bump to use. Because what if I just want to use it down here? Then up here for the one... Oh, this is actually a bit annoying. It's also fun, but also annoying. Because for that compiler, I need to put it underscore because I don't want to use it up here. I just want to use it down here to use that as the bump. But then as soon as I have a different name here, it also complains here, if I close it and open it again, that it's not the same name. This is so stupid. So I give it the same name that it complains up there. Okay, whatever, but then it's fine. But then it still complains about this. But I can't leave it out. If I leave that out like this, then I have the same problem with, oh, that's not the same name. It must be in the same order. But that's actually good, because that's actually a common error. Some people might just do it like that, because they think that if I have the same name as this up here, that it would take this U8, that it takes from up here, because it has the same name. But no, that's not how this works. Anchor doesn't give a shit about that name, it just checks the types. For some reason, the Solana extension does care about the name, probably exactly for that reason, to warn you that here it would now take this. So I need to name this the same as this, then it doesn't complain anymore, but only if I close it and open it again. But it still says that I'm not using it down here. Okay, fair enough. And if I really want to use that as well, then I need to do it like this. And now my problem with that is, well, okay, sure, what if I really just want to use the bump down here? but I still need to specify that up front, and it's still gonna tell me, hey, you're not using this. I know that I'm not using this, but I need to specify it such that I can use this because they need to come in order. So, you know, it's kind of a, like, what do I do with it? Do I do this? No, then you still complain. You'll double complain. That's not the same as up here. Whatever there's no, like, I would need to use it somewhere down here, but I don't want it. That's something I don't use. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice, it's helpful, but it's also annoying. Like, it's only helpful if you don't know what you're doing. And if you know what you're doing, then you are just annoyed that it says this is red now, even though it's not. I can normally build this. Anchor does not care. Anchor will gladly build it for me and will gladly make it work. Even if I call that something and that my bump, and I put my bump here. That will work with Anchor, even though you say it's red. But, you know, this static analysis warns me from other things. So this is the cleaner way to do it. And then close it and open it again. Can't that like work automatically? So yeah, still that I get this here is a bit annoying, and that I get this here is also a bit annoying, and like, you know. But you got my point why I don't enjoy this. But overall, I still think that this static code analysis is helpful. I mean, we just looked at Anchor now. I quickly want to have a look if that also works for a pure Rust program. Let's get out of here. Rust with bugs. The other thing was Anchor with bugs. And then I go Rust with bugs and cargo init a lib. And then I'm going to open Rust with bugs. Hello Solana. In native. And yes, why not cargo add Solana program. I usually don't add Solana program, but the individual things, but I'm lazy now. I just quickly want to get it done. So this is a simple program, fairly similar to what we had in Anchor. Let's do that authority next account info from this accounter found double reference. Authority is not used, okay, but could already build this. Also missing thing. There you go. We had that before. Is it a more recent nightly release? The hell? Because that all looks like Anchor, right? That all looks like Anchor. Even this looks like Anchor. This looks like Anchor. This looks like Anchor. I want to see if any of that works also in native Rust, because it works for any Solana project. Sure does. Alerts when code fails to verify required signers. How do you know what a required signer is though? I know what a required signer is, and I'm gonna say this is a required signer, but you cannot tell me that this is a required signer. How would you? Like, just because I call it authority? So how would you tell me that this is a required signer? You can't. Can I have anything in native Rust that you would find? Maybe math stuff. Maybe let number be 1 minus 10. BAU 32. If I do that here, where did my program go? If I were to do that here, you would also not complain. What did I do earlier? Earlier I did clock slot minus 10. Ah, there we go. Okay, fine, make it a U64. Not like I care. Then it says the thing with the arithmetic. Okay, would you also do that in my native program if I were to get myself the clock sysvar and do that? Nope. Here you don't care. This is a slot. This is 10. Okay, it seems like the analyzer isn't doing anything in my native Rust. So to me, it looks like this only works for Anchor, and it also only works very buggy. Like somehow it's not always refreshing when I change something in the file. But it does give me some good hints. Like we did find some good use cases. Some of them are just not helpful, like this one. And some of them are just wrong, like this one, you know? If I close it and open it again. Here, this, I disagree. But overall, I would say, I mean, you can install the extension. I'm gonna keep it installed and see what it does. Worst case, it just isn't helpful. But no, worst case, it's misleading. But I wouldn't say it's misleading. It's just a bit weird sometimes. And we just looked at the static analysis. It also has the fuzzing, you know, that stuff with the whatevers and whatevers, where you see that then. I didn't have a look at that today, and I'm not gonna, because I'm happy with just that what we did here so far, knowing that I need to here do a checked sub. That will work better. Or will it? Oh no, I need to unwrap, because that's Rust, not Solana stuff. Doesn't give me a program error, it just gives me an error. Yeah, so I mean, I should properly handle this case here, but still being lazy. Anyway, so what's my conclusion? It's nice. It's not great. It certainly doesn't find all the bugs in your program. It's got a few things that it can tell you, and there are a few things that the extension itself can improve on. The Solana extension that works for all Solana projects. Yeah, works for Anchor is what I found out. But yeah, that's my first impression. They might improve the extension. They might add more features. I like having it installed. I'm gonna keep having it installed, and I will see in future videos what other things it will tell me. I'm able to tell the difference, like where it comes from. If it's coming from this extension here, the Solana VS Code, then I know, oh, that's what's complaining here. Maybe I'm going to be confused. Why is doing that? But we will see. So I'll keep that extension installed. You can install it yourself. Try it out. Let me know how it works for you. It's just a tool that can help, but it's not a magic thing that fixes your programs. Just a little help. That's my conclusion for this. Okay, good. With that, I shall leave you to the next video that you can watch. Those here. Give this one a like if you enjoyed it. Also, if you didn't, you can, or not, whatever. And you can subscribe if you haven't done that already. And watch me explore other things in the Solana space in the near future. Until then, have a good evening, or morning, or day, or night, if you're that sort of person. Okay, bye.